Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London. This morning I'm looking at a very interesting book which is a very topical subject at the moment, and it's the subject of secrecy, law and society, and that is the title of this interesting compilation edited by Greg Martin, Rebecca Scott Bray and Miko Kumar. The book's come to us from Routledge. It's available as both a book and an e-book, and Routledge of course is an Informer business which is part of the Taylor and Francis group. This particular book is what is part of the Glasshouse book series. It's a very interesting book, and as I've indicated, highly topical at the moment. Now, Elizabeth and I looked at the book and had a discussion about it, and we came up with a title for our review, and it's this: Secrecy, Free Speech and the Law, a Diversity of Views. And that's what we actually have here. Do have a look at our review, which is on the web and in the journals. We've given it a high rating because we don't review books which we don't consider good. There's no point. So we only look at books which are relevant to us and to people who are involved in the legal profession. This is the book front cover. There's the spine. There's nothing on the back. It's listed as Law, Politics and Sociology. The book itself runs to 276 pages. There's an index right at the back, which you can see there. Then you've got a huge amount of bibliographical detail to be expected. Then if we go to the front of the book, you can see straight away this is actually some detail about the book itself and the authors. Then you've got the actual front page itself there. Then you have all of the main detail. If you're looking for any particular detail about the ebook, it's actually on that side. Then you've got the various parts of the book structured there. There are 4 parts in total, and some acknowledgements. Then you've got a note of the various contributors. This is an edited book, so it's got a lot of people who've contributed. You can see the large number of people involved here. And then we go straight into the main subject itself, the introduction and so on. There isn't any footnoting as such, and there are no paragraph numbers. What you do have, the way it's actually structured, is after the particular chapter you have notes at the back, and that's where you will find your bibliographical references. And as you see, it's split into various parts. There are 4 parts in total. Looking at it, part 1 is secrecy and security, part 2 is open justice and procedural fairness, very relevant to human rights, part 3 right to know, and part 4 secrecy and society. And as you probably gather, we are a very secretive society in this country in any event. But the book itself, just opening it in the middle, you can see there's a lot of detail. There are sub paragraph, actual sub paragraphs, but no actual numbering as such. So at the back, if you're looking for anything in particular, you will have a page number in the index. As I say, it's a very interesting book, and part of the very high quality publications which Routledge have become well known for. And of course they're of immense help to us both in our daily lives as practitioners, but also in the much more general aspects of the arguments that are currently being pursued in all quarters about the level of secrecy and how we're going to look at this in the future. This is what we say anyway about the book. I say, who knew? This scholarly compilation of articles in the aptly titled Secrecy, Law and Society, which is the name of this book, contains a chapter by Professor Thomas Ellington of Wesleyan University, United States of America, that offers an interesting comment by way of background information on secrecy laws and its problems in the United States. Although an open society, the United States, he says, quote, has kept secrets since the Revolutionary War, which takes us back to 1776 or so. And in that war, General Washington maintained a spy ring behind British lines and used, quote, rudimentary cryptography and invisible ink So that's how they won. Some 240 years later, we've moved forward to the era of WikiLeaks and Edward Snowden. Either or both will never cease to generate controversy, although most of us will admit that in difficult times secrets can be vital, and equally vital is the need to protect them. That's where the book comes in. It's published by Glasshouse Books, which is an imprint of Routledge and the Taylor and Francis Group, and the book is further evidence of the increasing scholarly interest as well as public interest in the never-ending tension between the right to privacy and what is frequently referred to as the inalienable right of free speech. As a collection of 14 treatises contained in this book by as many learned contributors, which I showed you at the front, they're actually listed in detail at the front with their bibliographies. The book's a result of a workshop held in February 2014 at the University of Sydney in Australia, and most of the contributors are established academics in law at Australian universities, joined by colleagues from Britain and the United States. So individually and collectively they present an interesting cross-section of viewpoints on various instances and aspects of secrecy, not only in law but in other areas of public and social life. The book's contents area is grouped under the 4 categories or parts, which consider respectively, as I've indicated, secrecy and security, open justice and procedural fairness, the right to know, tough one that, and secrecy and society. So lawyers, scholars and certainly journalists and feature writers, we think, who are doing research in any of these areas will find this book with its extensive and meticulous footnoting to be a treasure trove of references to follow up as interesting and authoritative avenues for further inquiry. Let me conclude by saying what is especially refreshing about the book is its plain speaking and quite often hard-hitting approach to the various aspects of this topic about which the individual contributors have strong views. As a contribution to the ongoing debate then on the often insoluble problems inherent in issues of secrecy, security, free speech and the law, this book, with its diversity of opinion, is first class, and I think it does enrich the debate of where we are going in 2015, and I'm recording this in the summer of 2015. The publication date itself is cited as at 2015. Here's the book again. It's a very light book, hardcover, nothing on the back, not particularly enthralling visuals on the front, but however the content makes up for it. Chapter 7, here we go. Secrecy, procedural fairness and state courts. Very important Human Rights Act issue again. And as I say, we are moving into very new areas sometimes in the way we deal with the problems in a much more educated society. There again, you've got a very substantial referencing material there. So it's a real delight, I think, for the academic legal community. Thank you anyway to Routledge. It's a delight to review your books in any event. This one in particular I found fascinating. And thank you to all contributors as well for the huge amount of work they do. They make our lives a lot easier because they put straight to us some of the most important issues that we actually confront in practice. So thank you to all. Bye-bye.